My name is Dr. Shmuel Shields, and we have a pre-summer 8-part sessions of health. We're going to be talking about the mitzvah of Ushmartem me'od nafsho seichem, to guard your health very carefully. And what I've prepared is eight mini sessions that will be aired over the next 2 weeks that you can tune into and watch and enjoy and hopefully get a lot of good information from. I am a New York State certified nutritionist, and I'm going to provide the information for these sessions. So we are going to begin with a little announcement. I want to first thank Chazak for putting this together and organizing this. If you have any questions or comments on this series or any feedback or anything you'd like to ask, please send your email to events@chazak.org, and that's Chazak, C-H-A-Z-A-Q, events@chazak.org, for any comments, questions, feedback, etc. Okay, so this is going to be basically a series of building blocks on how to be able to prepare healthier foods and better nutrition for you and your families. So I'm going to highlight in each session certain things that I think are very important, and I'm going to encourage you, before making any dietary or lifestyle changes, to please check with your healthcare professionals to make sure that things you would like to do are really right for you. So this is basically general information, and it has to be applied individually in the right way if it's appropriate for you to do so. So the first topic, the first session, the first mini session is going to be on whole foods. So what do we mean by a whole food? A whole food is basically a food that has not been processed. Nothing has been done to the food to make any changes in the food. We all know that if you have a Sefer Torah, and if you're missing one letter, or one letter is damaged in some way, it puzzles the whole Sefer Torah. The Torah is not usable. And those of you that have tried to send out an email, and even you're missing a little dot, the email bounces back and it's undeliverable. So how much more so with the Ribono Shel Olam's foods? Imagine Hashem created with wisdom foods for us to not only enjoy, but to the main essence of eating for us is really to build and maintain healthy bodies and have the energy to be able to do the mitzvahs and to be able to learn Torah and to serve Hashem. Without the energy, without our health, we can't accomplish this goal. So Hashem put together foods for us to benefit from and to be healthy with. And if we remove even one ingredient from that food, we certainly didn't make the food any better than it was in its whole state. So we have to try to get back to incorporating whole foods into our meal plans. I could tell you that at the turn of the century, or even let's say we'd go back thousands of years, cultures all over the world consumed whole, unprocessed foods. And up until about 150 years ago, we were also using primarily whole foods. With the advent of the Industrial Revolution, which took place about 150 years ago, we started to process our foods. About 10% of the food supply was processed back then. In today's world, 90% of our foods have been processed. And when, as I mentioned, when foods are changed in any way, when an ingredient is taken out or other things are added to the foods, we destabilize the food. It reacts in our body very differently. Let me give you some practical examples so you can see what I'm talking about. I have had patients over the years that have come to me, and I've seen articles myself that will say not much of a difference between white rice, which is a processed grain, and brown rice, which is the whole food. They'll show you carbohydrate-wise, not much of a difference. Calorie-wise, not much of a difference. Protein-wise, not that much of a difference when it goes through the refining process like that. But what they don't tell you is that there's a big nutrient difference. Many of the nutrients that were in the whole grain have now been stripped away. Let me give you just one example and you'll see what I'm talking about. Take a mineral like magnesium, a very important mineral that many people fall short in their daily dietary intake, they don't get enough magnesium. When you look at the magnesium value of white rice, it provides about 8 milligrams. When you look at the magnesium value of brown rice, the whole food in its whole state, you get about 40 milligrams from the same serving size. So that's just one small example of what happens when we process a food and we strip out many of the vital nutrients that are in that food. At some point, it's going to create deficiencies in our diet, and that could lead to health problems, disease, and so on. When it comes to whole wheat, we know that the processing today of whole wheat, many vital nutrients are stripped away when they remove the germ, when they remove the bran. We miss out on most of the vitamin E is lost, most of the vitamin B6, magnesium, manganese. We lose some of the dietary fiber, zinc, copper, potassium. A number of nutrients are reduced greatly in the refining process. So again, if I had to give you, just to finish off on this first session, the building blocks to really good health and to a healthy meal plan is going to be the foundation, the yesod, is going to be whole, unprocessed foods. And all the dietary plans out there that you've come across, one of the things that a good meal plan will have in common with other meal plans, it will be based on whole foods. Again, before we move on to the next class that I'm going to do, I just want to close by saying that the Rambam has said that most illness and most disease is caused by overeating and poor food choices. So food plays a very essential role in our general health and well-being. Okay, stay tuned. We will have another session. Tune in next time for the next session, which will be on rainbow nutrition. Thank you.